and welcome to Wildcat Week as we bring you the best of Indiana Wesleyan University sports, highlights, and updates. I'm Tim Tedeschi. To get things started, the track and field team competed at the Jets Pizza Invitational hosted by Saginaw Valley State in Michigan. Senior Emily Bant set a new program record in the 400 meters with a time of 58.42 seconds. Previous record of 58.92 seconds was set by Alex Miller in 2012. Also, freshman Rachel Gibson broke a record previously held by Alex Miller in 2012 with a time of 25.58 seconds in the 200 meters. On the men's side, junior Noah Stratton broke the program record in the 400 meters with a time of 49.75 seconds. The old record of 50.05 was ran by Eric Brown. Also, the 4x400 relay team set a new program record of 3 minutes and 23.25 seconds and broke the old mark of 3 minutes 25.93 seconds in 2015. The relay team consisted of senior Daniel Isaacs, sophomore Chet Allens, freshman Derek Parker, and Noah Stratton. After a very successful weekend of track and field, I'm joined now with freshman Rachel Gibson and junior Noah Stratton. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Wildcat Week, your Wildcat Week debuts. Going into this meet last Saturday, were you expecting all these records to be broken?
I would say that we were expecting fast times because we were running on a 300-meter track rather than a 200-meter track, but I think all of us were really surprised with the days that we had in all of our different events.
What were you expecting, Rachel?
I was expecting to run faster, but I didn't think I would break the record at this meet, so I was really impressed with my time and how I ran.
And what does that mean for you guys as a program that's had a lot of success in the past to still be getting better and even in indoor season be able to break these records?
Really just for me, it's kind of an honor to have, my name up on the board with so many other awesome people like the Michael Moffats and the Nino Bellinattis. Just to have seen them break records and to know that I was able to accomplish that this weekend is it's a big honor for me.
And there were also you were able to meet two standards on the women's side, Emily Bance with the B standard in the 400, and then the relay team that you were a part of. What does that mean to be able to get these standards in indoor season as you move through the rest of the season as well?
I think this is a great example of where we are already in the season, and if we can already be that fast now, just think of how good we can be later on in the season when we've had more training and practices. And so I think I was just glad to be a part of the team and help do my part in making it to indoor nationals.
And you talked a little bit about the difference between tracks and indoor and that kind of thing. Do you have a different approach when you're in indoor season compared to when you're in outdoor season?
I think it depends on the event, but for sprints, usually your time's going to be a little bit slower just because the curves are harder to run. But we still treat it just as a normal part of the season. We use it to get better each and every meet and week in and week out. Really, we look towards outdoor. There's a lot of competitions, and conference is outdoor, so we look forward to outdoor and kind of use indoor more as a warm-up time.
Do you prefer indoor to outdoor or the other way around? How do you feel about that, Rachel?
I like both indoor and outdoor, but I think I definitely like outdoor a little bit better. I've run both, but in the past I've always focused more on outdoor. I think I've always made it further in outdoor than I have indoor, but I still improve on both.
And looking forward, you're kind of still in the beginning of the season, in indoor season. You moved to outdoor in early March, a little after spring break. Just looking, like you said, already breaking records here early. What are some goals that you have, both personally and as a team, as the season goes on?
I would say for me, they've already accomplished getting the 4x4 standard, but I would love to either be a part of a 4x4 or even some other relays that could meet standards, just so you have that experience of going down to nationals and competing with some of your fellow teammates in an actual relay. I would also like to try to qualify in an individual. Not really sure where that will come, probably the 4, but that's a goal of mine. But also just to get down to nationals is always a great experience. So.
For me, my goals this year are just to do my best and keep improving my times, and then, if possible, outdoor. I would like to make it to nationals with the relay team. I think that would be really cool if we could do that.
And you guys run a variety of events. What would you say is your favorite to run, and why is that?
I would probably say my favorite event is the 400, just because that's what I've been running for the longest now, and so I kind of get in a groove. I know how to run it well, and it's just it's my best event, so that obviously helps a little bit. So.
My favorite event would probably have to be the 200 because it's my best event also. It's not too short, not too long, and for me it takes me a little while to get up to speed, so that's why the 200 is a good race for me.
And looking forward to this coming Saturday, you have the IW Midwest Classic. What are you running in that meet, and what are you looking forward to for this weekend?
So I'm actually running the 4x800 with some guys this weekend, but also running the 4. We will see in the 4x8. This is the first time we're running one indoor this season, so we'll see what kind of time we can get. Last year outdoor, I was a part of a 4x8 that qualified for nationals and got All-American, so we'll see if we can kind of get back in the swing of things and maybe repeat that for indoor. But also for the 4, I'm just looking for a solid time, maybe hitting standard, but with running an 800, I know that I won't be fresh like I normally am, so that might be kind of hard.
For me, I'm running the 60 dash, the 200, and the 400, and this will be the first time I run the open 400 this season, so it'll be interesting to see what I can do in that race.
Well, thank you guys both so much for coming in here on Wildcat Week, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, the women's basketball team traveled to Bethel College to face against the Pilots. Lady Wildcats also hosted a top 20 showdown against the Marion Knights. Head coach Chet Foraker joins me to walk me through those games. Welcome back to Wildcat Week. The Lady Wildcats traveled to Mishawaka to face off against the Bethel Pilots on Saturday, January 28th. In the opening minute of the second quarter, the Pilots took their largest lead of the day at 15-6 off of a pair of free throws. The Lady Wildcats started a 9-0 run late in the third quarter that lasted into the first minute of the fourth to turn a 1-point deficit into a 47-39 IWU lead. It was the largest Lady Wildcat lead of the afternoon, but the Pilots would immediately respond with a 14-0 run to build a 53-47 advantage. Bethel did not give up that lead for the rest of the game to shut down Indiana Wesleyan by a final score of 60-63. Sophomore Nicole Ignashik had a career-high night with 19 points. She went 8 of 8 from the field and was 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Junior Brittany Washington also put up 14 points and went 6 of 9 from the field. After a close loss to the Pilots, the Lady Wildcats traveled back to Lucky Arena to host a top 20 showdown against the defending national champion Knights of Marion University. 17th ranked Lady Wildcats and the 5th ranked Knights battled on Wednesday night, but Marion pulled off the 61-56 victory, with the key moment being a 15-1 run by the Knights that started in the third quarter and extended into the fourth. Junior Brittany Washington scored 22 points and had 4 rebounds. Senior Kelsey Key also put up 12 points and 4 boards. After a couple of close losses, I am joined now with women's basketball head coach Chet Foraker. Coach, thanks for joining us. A few tough losses, first on the road at Bethel and then at home against Marion, but these were really 2 close games.
Yeah, it was. The game at Bethel was the one that hurts a lot because we really felt we should win that game, and we just didn't do the right things at the right time, and the fouls were a real issue. We were called for many more fouls than they were, and I guess that means we weren't playing good defense. But at any rate, it hurt us a lot, and so it was a disappointing loss. And then we came back and gave Marion a great game, and we played much better. I think if we can maintain the playing strength and the attitude that we had against Marion in these last 5 games, I think we can still be all right, and we'll still have a great opportunity to get to the national tournament. So, and that is what our goal is. We're working real hard on that. We are leaving no stone unturned to try to examine our offense, see what we can do to tweak it to help us become stronger. Second round of conference play always is a challenge because they've seen you once, and of course we've seen them once too, so the advantage for both. But we've had just a little bit of a challenge with that, but we are by no means ready to pack it in.
Looking back at the Marion highlights now, Marion tried to have a little opening run there, but good defense there from Brittany Washington. You guys really started out this game pretty strong.
We did. We came out and we had a very specific defensive plan for this game, and it worked perfectly in the first half. And when we went in at halftime, we were exactly where we wanted to be defensively, and thought there were some advantages we could take offensively, and so we came out to do that. And they started to penetrate our defense a little bit more in the second half, and that's what caused us the problem, and it caused a breakdown in our defense. So that was what caused the penetration into our zone. Hurt us more than the shooting over the zone. People can think that you normally get hurt by people shooting over a zone, and that was not the case. It was the penetration that hurt us most.
So a three-point shot from Anna Imhoff a little earlier. What have you thought of the way your guards have been playing? You see, Brittany, she had 22 points, right. And you know what you're going to get from Kelsey, but yeah. Brittany and Anna have really stepped up these past few games.
They really have. Brittany particularly, but Anna also. Anna's always solid. She's a great outside shooter, but Brittany has really stepped up and hit some twos and threes that have been very, very helpful. She had a great game. She had a great game at Bethel, and she had a great game last night as well.
See some more highlights here. Another big contributor these past few games has been Nicole Ignashik.
Right.
After Haley Woodruff has been out, she had 19 points against Bethel, a career high. What have you thought of the way she stepped up into the starting role?
She has really done a great job and been a great help to us. We've been really proud of what she did. We'll certainly be glad when Haley gets back, of course. And I don't know how soon that's going to be. I think they are having x-rays again today. So hopefully we get her back soon. But Nicole has done a great job.
See here, moving into the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter, Marion went on a 15-1 run. What was the difference in that period of the game?
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. They got the ball inside. They got the ball inside the zone, and that's what created the problem. And so they were getting, pretty decent shots, and we just should never have allowed that to happen. But that is what took place. It wasn't that they were shooting over the zone; they were penetrating the zone.
And when it came to the offensive side, see, driving in there, what do you think was the difference there? Was it Marion playing better defense, or the offense just kind of breaking down during that run?
I think we just got too careful in our offense. You've got to be free in an offense, and you got to take the shot when you get it. And I think we were getting a little tight and not taking advantage of what we had.
You see here in the late going, a couple of threes hit, and they really fought all the way till the end. What did you think of the way the team responded after that 15-1 run?
Well, I thought they responded like they always do. I mean, there are no quitters out there, and so they were disappointed. We were disappointed, but they fought back, and they always do. But we've got to keep those runs from being as big, and that's basketball is a game of runs, actually, and so we've got to do a better job when a run starts of finding a way to get it cut off sooner, not letting it go so far.
Looking forward, you travel to Huntington this weekend, and that Crossroads League right in the middle, about 2 through 6, it's really bunched up. Huntington is right in there.
Right.
What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, it's always hard to play at Huntington. I mean, I've not played there, but I've seen the history, and when I was here a few years ago, I went to several games at Huntington, so I'm a little familiar with that environment. And Huntington's got a great shooting team. I mean, they've got some of the top three-point shooters in the conference. So there's going to be a huge challenge playing them there, and so many teams are in the middle of it that everybody's fighting for their life. So it is a real competitive situation we're in, and it'll be a tough game up there. It really will. I mean, they will be home, and those three-point shooters are going to enjoy it. And the fact that we had that 4 overtime win is probably still sticking in their craw. So I'm sure they'll have they'll be ready for us. But we'll be ready for them as well.
Well, thanks so much for joining me, Coach. Once again, the Lady Wildcats will travel to Huntington, Indiana, and play the second half of the men's and women's doubleheader on Saturday, February 4th. The men's game starts at 1 p.m. and the women's game will follow at approximately 3 p.m. in Platt Arena. When we come back, the Wildcats men's basketball team traveled to Bethel College to play in a tough match against the Pilots. Also, IWU hosted the Marion Knights in Lucky Arena. Men's basketball associate head coach Jeff Clark joins me to break down those games. Don't go away. Welcome back to Wildcat Week. The men's basketball team played in a top 10 showdown against the Pilots of Bethel College on Saturday, January 28th. A win here would put the Wildcats in a tie with the Pilots for the top spot in the Crossroads League. In the opening half, neither team led by more than 6 points, but going into the second half, Bethel would open on a 7-0 run to build a 54-42 advantage. The Pilots held a 14-point lead, but the Wildcats diminished that to 4 points following a 10-0 run to make it 64-60. Indiana Wesleyan cut the deficit to 2 points at 67-65, but Bethel responded with a huge 20-5 run to push themselves in sole possession of the top spot in the Crossroads League standings by a final score of 87-74. Bethel sweeps the regular season series versus the Wildcats. It's the first time the Pilots have accomplished that feat since the 08-09 season. Senior Lane Mahurin put up 18 points and 5 rebounds. Also, sophomore Grant Zawatsky had 11 points and 2 assists. After a tough loss on the road in Mishawaka, the Wildcats traveled back to Lucky Arena to host the Marion Knights on the last day of January. The seniors for the 6th-ranked Wildcats helped push the team to victory over the Knights by a final score of 94-61 on Tuesday in Lucky Arena. Bob Peters finished with 24 points and 5 assists. He went 8 of 12 from the field and 4 of 7 from behind the arc. Lane Mahurin also had a double-double with 18 points and 10 rebounds. After a good bounce-back win against the Marion Knights, I am joined now with men's basketball associate head coach Jeff Clark. And Coach, let's talk briefly about Bethel. I'm sure we don't want to talk too much about it, but going into that second half and the 20-5 run that they went on to end the game, what was going on there?
You know, Bethel is such a good team, and to go on the road against a team like that, you have to play nearly flawlessly. And we just had some mental lapses. We had some turnovers. We had some possessions where we took quick shots, and they converted just like a really good team does. So hopefully it's something our team grows from and learns from, and we think we have taken steps toward that. But, you know, you go on a road against a team that's ranked in the top 5, you got to be perfect.
And going into that Marion game, looking for a bounce-back game, were you expecting the team to come out strong the way that they did?
We saw signs of it in practice. We had seen signs leading into the Bethel game of our guys really breaking out offensively, and it didn't happen in Bethel. We didn't move the ball the way we wanted to, but watching film on Saturday night and then watching film on Sunday night and watching some more film on Monday leading to the game, we had one of our best offensive practices of the year, and that played out Tuesday. So hopefully we have some things figured out with our offense, and then it played out on the other end of the floor too.
And when you're playing a team like Marion that's kind of at the bottom of the Crossroads League, I know a lot of times the tendency can be for players to try to overlook that, but you look, team came out strong, didn't really let up the whole game. What does that say about especially the senior leadership on this team?
I think Bob and Lane and Nate and Aaron knew after losing to Bethel that we couldn't have a bad game. We couldn't have a bad practice. And those guys were so locked in film. They were so locked in practice. So those guys have been through enough ups and downs this season. They've been through enough wars. We figured they'd respond well.
We're going to take a look at some of the highlights from that Marion game. See early the three-point shot going with Grant Evans, and really from the get-go, this game belonged to you guys to see the fast break going with Trevor, and just offensively, defensively, you guys were in control this entire game.
Yeah, you know, against Bethel, our guys had a fearless mentality. They were just trying to do it on their own, and what we really got back to is how can we move the ball and allow the offense to create shots rather than you trying to create the shot yourself. And we saw that play out. The ball was just flying around the floor, and our guys were always making the extra passes. And there were multiple times you see on this film where guys had a great shot, but they gave it up to get an even better shot, and it ended up with us. I think we started the game 1 for 4, and after that made 15 of our next 16 shots.
Saw some passing right there, and then you saw Ben Carlson going inside. He's really stepped up over the past few games. 10 rebounds in the Bethel game and finished with 8, I think, it was against Marion. What has he meant to you, being able to be that strong presence down low off the bench?
People see the performance on the court, but what they're not seeing is the hard work he's putting on off the court. Ben lost almost 50 pounds this summer, and he continues to just work and work in the weight room and in the gym. And even this morning, we got a text from Coach Marlin about some of the improvements he's made in the weight room, and we've just been so impressed with how hard he's been working off the court, and that's really playing itself on.
So the dunk by Lane and the three-point shot by Bob, those two plays back-to-back really show what these two players, your senior leaders, can do on the court, but of course, like you said earlier, that senior leadership off the court as well. I got to ask about some of those passes from Lane. He's been averaging about 5 assists the past few games, and he had some circus passes. What are you thinking on the sideline when you're seeing Lane go for some of those passes?
Lane has some of those moments sometimes where you wonder what's going on in his head, but he also makes amazing plays. And Lane's one of those guys, he has such a great feel and such great instinct. Sometimes you got to let him play through mistakes and figure it out. And we've seen over the course of 4 years that in big moments, he often makes the right play.
See there, Lane getting in position, and even as you see with nearly a 40-point lead, still keeping the intensity up and able to get down to some of the depth of your bench. What does that mean both for them to get some playing time and also to get your starters some rest?
Yeah, these guys work so hard. I think of Micah Davis as a kid who he's in the gym every day and he's working on his shot. He's in the weight room. Grant Pribble's a guy who's a redshirt who's improved so much from the time that he's put in the weight room and on the floor. So to see some of those guys, Micah and Aaron and Nate and Joel, get some playing time at the end of the game, I think that was good for all of us to see.
Looking forward now, you face a Huntington team on Saturday that's kind of right in the middle towards the bottom of the Crossroads League, but then a really tough stretch where you have Taylor, St. Francis, Spring Arbor, who you played tough against. What are you looking forward to as we move into the home stretch of this Crossroads League season?
You know, we're really focused on our own team and the growth that we've been seeing. We've seen our guys really buy in new ways and grow both on and off the court in some unique ways. So we're excited about the trajectory of our team and the direction we're going. But Huntington, it's a hard place to win. It's a gym where they've won a lot of games. They shoot the ball incredibly well. So we're focused on our team first and then this game right in front of us next.
And what are you seeing in practice, as you said, just focusing on the team as they get better? Do you see any signs of fatigue or more players getting fired up about getting closer to tournament time?
You know, one of the things going on behind the scenes, our players started a 40-day prayer challenge. And every day they're praying together, they're seeking the Lord. And we've really seen some traction and some renewed energy because there's an intimacy forming on our team that maybe we didn't have before. And that's playing itself on the court. So we've had better practices the last couple of weeks than we've had all season and maybe more energy. So while some people may think this is the grind of the season, I think we're energized right now.
That's great to see, and definitely a hallmark of Indiana Wesleyan men's basketball. Thanks, Coach, for joining me, and good luck on Saturday against Huntington.
Thank you.
Once again, the Wildcats will travel 30 minutes up the road to Huntington to take on the Foresters on Saturday, February 4th for a 1 p.m. tip-off at Platt Arena. The men play the front end of a men's and women's doubleheader. That's all we have for you this week. If you'd like to see more of Wildcat Week, you can visit our website at wiwutv.com to see past episodes and be able to connect with us online. Again, that's wiwutv.com. We look forward to being back with you next week. For all of us here, thanks for watching Wildcat Week.